so much, Sean, and what a privilege and an honor not only to address you all, but also to be surrounded with such wonderful, dedicated, passionate teachers. Sean, if I may just say, I'm still in the teaching fraternity. I just can't leave the classroom. I just love the children so much, and I'm now a foundation phase head as well at the school. And my husband, he's doing all the NeuroNet side, and I'm doing the implementation as well as the support to schools, because being in that classroom feeds my soul. So really, what a privilege to be here. I must admit, just like Robin said, I love to have faces looking at me, and this is a very different platform. And I'm sure many of you as teachers, we had to get out of our comfort zone and present and teach and equip and support and intervene on a different platform, and it just shows us how adaptable and changeable we have to be in these times. But really, what a privilege and what an honor to be around people who are doing God's will in just enlightening our little children, our little people amongst us, and giving them knowledge and skills and attitudes, norms, values, all those wonderful things, so that they can just blossom and be the child that God wants them to be. As you did say, yes, it is challenging times, and Kathy, I could not commend you more than what a wonderful idea of getting hands-on, because as we find ourselves in a situation like this, we literally are commanded, guys, we've got to get stuck in now. We've got to go hands-on. But ironically, how do we get hands-on when we have to maintain that physical distancing and at the same time we can't touch them? Very challenging for our little people. But speaking about the challenges that we have going forward, like we heard Jill speaking about getting the children ready for grade 1 and all the other developmental delays that are there as well. It's quite overwhelming, especially me as well in my classroom. I'm like, do I have enough time to equip them with what they need? And it's obviously made us take a step back and reflect on what is core, what is essential. And in that moment of overwhelmingness, it's just a good time to go back to the fundamentals of how do children learn? And children learn through developing through their milestones of development. And when they develop and reach those milestones, then learning happens. So I think our focus must now be not the curriculum, not our syllabus, but more on where the child is in development and move on from there, because learning will literally take care of itself. So looking at development, and me being in the foundation phase, I thought this is where it all happens. And doing a bit more research, ECD is where it happens, because you are core in making sure that those essential skills are in place. So when they come to me in the foundation phase, we can then introduce reading and writing and maths and all of that. So you are receiving children who have learned separate skills, and now they are at this beautiful environment, your classroom, where they are integrating these separate skills and using that to be functional. And when they come to me, all those basic skills are in place so that we can introduce reading, so that we can introduce problem solving in numbers and handwriting. And when we talk about getting those skills that are reached, it's more than just ticking that box. It's actually looking at how they are fulfilling that skill. And this is where I want to just stop for a moment. And I'm also a teacher that, I did that, tick, tick, they can do it. But how well can they do it? The key here is speed. Now, for example, if a child says, I can pedal on my bicycle, that's great. We mustn't tick it. We must watch how they pedal. If they don't pedal fast enough, they're going to fall off because they won't be able to maintain balance. What about if you're on your bicycle and you're pedaling when you're going downhill or going uphill? Are you able to adjust it according to what the requirements are? If you can do that, then you have acquired that skill, or what we say automated. So often higher up in the grades, parents might say to us, but my daughter knows all her reading words. I don't know what the problem is with reading. And we say, yes, you're right, your daughter knows her reading words, but if you give her all day, she will figure it out. But her recognition of those words is not functional because it's not fast enough. And that goes with all the skills that we have. It's not good enough just to, I see it, but we've got to make sure that it's really automated. How do we know if a skill is automated? It's when you see that they can do it fluently. How do you see fluency? Fluency takes part in two areas. You've got speed and you've got accuracy. It's one thing to have speed. Oh, we have many boys in the classroom. Done, I finished. And when you look at it, you're like, okay, what can I say that's encouraging here? So yes, speed is one thing, but it's not everything. What about that little person who is painstakingly developing this beautiful work of art, but it's taking so much time? That learner has got the accuracy, but doesn't have the speed. So we actually need the two to form a network. Then we've got fluency. And when you've got that network, that is when we can move to the next level of learning, the higher level of learning. And this is where I realize, and I commend all of you in ECD, the work you are doing with our children lays the complete fundamental foundation for higher learning. I applaud you for what you're doing. I cannot emphasize the importance of your role. And when people say you're just playing, I struggle with that at times. If I may elaborate a little more here, remember when children learn to walk for the first time, many of your moms, you watch them and you're like, oh, everybody stop, watch, he's going to take his first step. And they take their first step, and you know what, there comes another step, and we watch this stages of development. And when the little one falls, what do? We applaud, yay, you are walking. And that is something that made me realize as an educator, am I that excited in the classroom when I see my children learning? Or do I stand up and say, yeah, you did walk, but you couldn't do that marathon. And we've got to celebrate them achieving and working on those skills, because every time they fall down, they look up at us, and from our expression, it encourages them to stand up. And you know, whenever they stand up, they will walk further, and they fall down, they will walk further. And eventually, by doing this over and over, in other words, repeating it, they will become totally automated in the skill. And this skill, they can then use it to integrate it into something else. Now, if you look at this little picture of the boys and girls playing soccer there, do you see any of them figuring out and doing the motor planning of one step in front and then the other step? No, they have automated that skill. That skill requires no more cognitive attention to execute it. It's automated. Now I can put my cognitive attention on skills that require higher levels of learning. For example, in this game of soccer, it's strategic play. Where am I going to go so I can get the ball in the goal? Oh, there's a defender in front of me. What are my options? Look at the amount of thinking that's happening. But it can only happen when you are based on skills that are automated. And that's what happens in the classroom situation. We are often bringing new skills and we realize, it goes right over. And that's because they haven't automated those basic skills. Where do those basic skills start? With you. And that's why, again, I say I applaud and I honor your role that you play in ECD, because it's fundamental then. Looking at this, for basic skills to be functional, you need the speed and accuracy network. And when you have speed and accuracy network there, that's when you have fluency. And you know what? When the child has fluency, in other words, they just do it without thinking, it requires less cognitive attention and it requires less effort. It's not hard work. It just happens. They know how much to give which will be more than adequate. And that allows them to be able to sustain that skill and to endure the activity. And that is something we're finding in the school system. Our children don't have the endurance, the sustainability, because I'm tired. And yes, you're right, it will be tiring until it's automated. I would just like to show you this clip, if I may. And when you look at it, it's a little girl learning to be this beautiful ballerina one day. And her teacher is saying, get your feet ready and hold up your umbrella. Look carefully. Right.
Yeah. All right.
Goes.
See if you
Come
can
on,
make
sweetie.
your shoes look
Let's get
just
your
like
feet
mine.
open.
Shoes can get those heels to touch. That's it.
Here we
Ashley.
go.
Good. Oh, this looks so nice. Brianna, can you get your heels to touch for me?
All she needs
See how I'm making
outside
the
help
letter
to get her
E?
feet open.
Miss Kimberly,
But
will you make sure
nevertheless,
that everyone's trying it?
She's got it. Look at her hands, even showing my feet are open.
Oh, she's doing it.
But when her attention is off it, oh dear.
Let's hold down our
How do I do this?
Hold them
What
over
do
here
I
by the
do?
right side. We'll give them
My hands are showing what my feet must do. And do you notice she has no idea what the teacher's saying? She's
Now
not
we
taking
have to
in
pretend that we're
anything
reaching
the
outside
teacher
the
is saying
umbrella
because she is so
Look at this.
fixated on what she needs to do that she can't do. Oh,
I felt
look
a
at
raindrop,
that.
so my arm comes back in like this. In! Yeah, good. It's okay if your shoes aren't doing it. Don't worry,
And
okay?
this little girl
Just try this part.
clearly needs to map her body in her brain before she can have accuracy in that skill shown. And that's what happens in our classroom. We're thinking, why aren't you listening to me? Ma'am, I can't listen because I don't know how to hold this pencil and write. We're so trying to figure out on those basic skills that should have been automated that aren't. So here we are having attention delays. No, it's more that I have to give so much cognitive attention on skills that aren't automated. Thinking about you and I when we learned to drive, do you remember when we were learning to drive a car, and now that we can drive a car, in between something happened. It's a physical, measurable change that happened in the brain where we can do it automatically. It was quite hard work. I mean, we even had a workout while we did that because it was navigating your feet while your hands were doing different things, your eyes were elsewhere, and then you still had to listen out for sirens and cars hooting. That was quite a mammoth task to do, and hence the tree just came up in front of me. I don't know where that came from until the skill's automated. Then it's not functional. So fluency, when now we're driving the car fluently, changing gears, looking around, that is because we have automated those basic skills for the activity. What happens in the brain, and it was lovely to hear Robin speaking about the neural pathways in the brain. What happens in the learning brain, and I'm going to go into a bit of neuroscience for our academics out there. What we have is called temporal binding, and Robin spoke about it, where neural pathways are created from different parts in the brain as well as across the hemispheres of the brain. That is so important for problem solving. Yes, our children that are coming through our system are really struggling with problem solving. They stand with you with the problem and they have no clue what to do. And it's because they have not had enough stimulation where they could create pathways in the brain of using speech and what you see, and you can say, ma'am, I need to go to the toilet, please, or whatever it is. Okay, so temporal binding is fundamental for problem solving. Neurons that fire together, they wire together. If neurons are firing all the time, but it's no good they fire and not together. They got to fire together. And when they fire together, a pathway is made. When we have a pathway, we need to strengthen that pathway over and over and over for learning to happen. That strengthening comes through repetition. Our next neuroscience concept is the more that we have strengthened this, the stronger it becomes. Think about riding a bicycle and doing things that you did when you were a child. you don't have that to think about it anymore, because by doing it over and over, it's there. Yes, I must admit, things you haven't done in a long time, it might be a little challenging for it to come to surface, but then it comes and you learn and you remember how you've ridden your bicycle from way back then. And the last thing I want to speak, taking another aspect of neuroscience, the connections that are made in the brain, we want memory to be in place. For memory to be in place, it needs postsynaptic depolarization, which is a chemical change in the brain. But you and I, how do we go and give them that chemical change in the brain? You know how it's done? Through rhythm. Just listening to Robin, as she was saying, singing the alphabet rap, that helps. Rhythm helps with memory. So whatever learning you're doing, and think about it, there's so much we do that we don't realize, bringing rhythm in, because rhythm brings that chemical change in the brain that is required for memory. So using these neuroscience concepts that is out there, the program NeuroNet has incorporated this into its program, together with the whole concept of automaticity. What do we need to do to ensure that our children reach automaticity of basic skills so that higher learning can happen? And using the neuroscience concept plus the repetition, they have devised a program, and it's a perceptual motor learning program. Just listening to Robin, movement, that's how children learn. They've got to move. To be sitting behind a desk all day, no. We've got to get them up and moving. You have no idea the amount of neural pathways that are created while a child is moving. There is so much, not only motor planning, but also where am I in space, which helps them. Where am I in space? And the movement exercises that NeuroNet encompasses is all your perceptual skills that need to be automated, visual perceptual skills, auditory perceptual skills, and as Robin said as well, the vestibular system. It is vital when it comes to handwriting. So here NeuroNet creates a program that you can do with your children. And the wonderful thing about this is you don't have to teach them. You just have to let them watch and they copy you. Let me show you how NeuroNet achieves this. NeuroNet is displayed on a screen. As you watch these children looking on the screen, they are watching and they're learning. As they watch, they're learning, what do I need to do to make myself look like the model on the screen? And by doing that, they are doing some motor planning, executing strategically, what do I need to put in place first, second, while doing this, and then they're attentive. What makes them attentive? Our basic learning is through imitation. Think about it. When the children were tiny, they copy. And looking at them doing free play, they copy. So imitation is a very natural way of learning. So by getting them watching, you'll see how they start moving to it. And what I love about this, it's totally the opposite of what's happening out there. Children are standing and they're waiting for people to tell them what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And when they don't get that feedback, they wait and they wait until the teacher ends up doing it for them, or until mommy just ends up doing it for them, which is just so much easier, but not in the long run. The program here, we are inviting them, or it is, you got to do it, I'm not doing it for you. So you just facilitate by giving words of encouragement while they're watching and they're planning how to do this. And as I said, this, if you can get this embedded, this kind of learning where they are engaging themselves, being accountable. I need to take this step, not mommy carry my bag. I need to carry that bag. I need to risk. And by risking, I will see, am I the same as the model that's on the screen? And if I'm not the same, then we look what is different. And by looking what is different, we are engaging in productive trial and error problem solving, and self-evaluation. I'm going too fast, or the model is too slow. What must I do? I need to slow down, or I need to go faster. Oops, I forgot to use my arms. And all of that helps them to address areas that they have not got in place. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, that to me is just how we can encourage independency in learning, even at ECD level. Exciting. The next aspect that NeuroNet takes is that speed and accuracy network I was speaking about earlier that brings about fluency. Well, you know what? You need to see, are they fluent with an exercise? How do you measure this fluency? Fluency, if you are fluent, it means you've automated the skill, but you see, it's speed and accurate. You can keep in time and you're doing it correctly. You've got fluency. In other words, it's automated. Now, if you look at the picture here, every child is looking at the same picture or the same screenshot of the model on the screen. But watch every child. Not one of them is exactly the same, because it shows you the child is processing it at the level where they are at. And by them looking and engaging and getting feedback, they can see, what must I do to be the same? It's like Simon says, let's try and be the same as Jonathan on the screen or as Scott on the screen. So here, if you as a facilitator, you can see who has got automaticity, who doesn't, and the ones who don't, what you do is you simplify the exercise for them, which will obviously be shown how to do that. And this also is such an important tool for the children to learn how to learn. How do I learn how to learn? Well, do what you can. And when they risk and take the step in doing what they can, they realize, hey, I can add something else. Or, oops, I'm noticing on the screen, I need to use my arms. So this is learning how to learn by using what you know to enhance new learning. Again, such a high level, however, it can be done and stimulated at ECD level. Get your brain to practice what you want your brain to learn. Oh, this is something at my class and keeps reminding each other. I tell my boys and girls, you know what? You're in my class. I'm here because I'm going to help you become champions. You are a champion because you're here and you're going to try, but you're going to be even better as we go through the year. I'm here to help you. Learning is not going to happen just like this. It's going to take practice. It sometimes takes a longer time. Why? Because we've got to help our brain to practice what we want our brain to learn. We've got to tell our brain, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to do it. And how do we do it? Through practice. I cannot emphasize repetition enough here. And this is something in the foundation phase we do a lot, is we introduce a concept and we repeat. Why? It creates the neural pathway, and through repetition, this pathway is strengthened until it is automated. So, get your brain to practice what you want your brain to learn. And it's actually quite sweet. I mean, obviously, I'm teaching grade 3s at the moment. When someone says, we're working away, and someone says, oh, this is difficult, and you hear the children in the back, get your brain to practice what you want your brain to learn. Oh, yeah, okay. They actually, because it makes sense to them. So children develop fluency of skills, that's motor skills, as well as cognitive skills, through fluency. So if you want them to experience fluency, you've got to get them to practice fluency. And the one way is especially in ECD, where you need to get the motor movement going in a time, okay? And if I can share with you, this happens quite a bit in the school system. Sorry, I'm being so excited. Where skills are actually in the working memory of your brain, which is a very limited part of the brain, okay? And when it is automated, those skills go whoop, to another part of the brain, and that part is the procedural memory, okay? And then it makes more space for new skills. But unfortunately, if skills are not automated in memory brain, this part of the brain gets rather full. And when it's full, we have no more memory for new skills. So what must we do? Automate those basic skills so we can push them over to procedural memory, so we've got more memory. It's very much like a computer. All right. Self-evaluation is a key to motivation. Oh my goodness. If we can get them to become intrinsically motivated, it makes our job so easy. How do we do that? Well, through the program, they can see I'm not quite the same, and they learn and they look at themselves, and they actually, if you saw that little video of the little girl, she actually looked at everybody else. How do you do it? And that feedback is helping to assist and evaluate myself. And then they learn as well. It doesn't just happen. You've got to put effort in. You've got to practice, and that equals and enhances performance. What a valuable life skill to learn at ECD level already, because it will make learning so much easier as they go along, by realizing it doesn't just happen like this, okay? And this is where I, as an educator, have to often stop myself and say, Liz, stop confirming the results of the children. Confirm and affirm the process, okay? Because we don't realize, but the ones who are shining, we say, oh, well done, you did that well. What about the ones who are trying? So now my whole focus is not worrying about the end result, but focus on the process. Wow, you're a champ because you keep trying. I love the way that you don't give up. I love the way that you try and try and try again. I love the way that you are in control of yourself when you're not happy with what you see. Those are such vital life skills that brings about perseverance and resilience, as well as true grit, which is so important in this stage when our children are who are seeking instant gratification. And as soon as something's too hard, I don't want to do that, or I'm bored, or I don't like this because it's too hard. But if they realize with effort and repetition, you'll get there. And that feeling afterwards is like, man, I'm good. Looking at the NeuroNet program as a nutshell, once the children are in the routine, it takes 20 minutes a day. OTs love this because it is doing little bits every day rather than a whole hour or two in one day. So we've got the movement component, and that's obviously for your perceptual motor skills, which is gross motor, as well as fine motor, and more than anything, the core. My goodness, if we don't strengthen the core, we can't do or execute any gross motor or fine motor movement. Then we've got vision blocks, which assists with verbal and vision integration. What I see, what I say. And by doing this exercise, the children, they see colors, and you can see them like, it doesn't want to come out. And it's creating the pathway to retrieve it so that they can say it all in with a time, because that's what reading is going to be all about. Then we've got picture pages in grade R. The picture pages is more rhyming words, which I remember Jill saying yesterday how important that is for emergent reading. And obviously for the ECD, the 4-year-olds, it's more language-based as well. And then we've got our listen, talk, and write component, which is pre-handwriting skills. If you're looking at ECD, which is your children that before they go to grade R, when you do the writing part, it's not writing on paper. No, it's not. It's air writing. By air writing, you've got the space in front of you, and it can be on a wall, it can be on a glass door if they want to do it with window markers or whatever, or just in front like this. And they identify their writing hand and their helping hand, which is so important when you are writing. And they do movements which cross over midline, which goes above and below, which is all prerequisites for obviously handwriting later on. If I look at the ECD age group, I've taken an example of a video of what the children will see. This is Scott. This is what they're going to see. Right, do you hear the metronome?
On the floor.
On the floor.
Ready. Go. On the stool.
On
the stool.
Jump down.
Jump down.
That way.
That way.
Walk around.
Walk around.
On the stool.
Right, did you see, Scott? We had the vestibular system, that's why there's the stool, and the vestibular system obviously is so important for when they're handwriting. Did you see directionality was there as well? And on the stool, jump down. It's all done in time. When the children do it, they just go round and round and round, and you have to say, yo, is Scott going so fast? And then that makes them aware, oh, I must look at Scott and look at myself, and that's where the self-evaluation comes in. And that helps them to do it in time. Time brings fluency. Rhythm is time. Time then pushes for fluency to come across. Looking at the vision blocks, this is now for the start of maths retrieval, understanding what the number represents.
And a 1, and a 2, and a ready. Go. Tick, tack.
4 fingers.
Tick, tack.
2 fingers.
Tick, tack.
4 fingers.
Tick, tack.
2 fingers.
Tick, tack.
2 fingers.
Tick, tack.
1 finger.
Tick, tack.
5 fingers.
Tick, tack.
4.
As you heard me saying, I even went to the next number. It just shows you those children who have got the ability to do this fluently, challenge them. Say to them, if you know that that's 4 fingers, say 4 and what comes after. What's the next number? Which is obviously the start of computation. Wow, wow, wow. If the children struggle with this, you saw the avatar swinging, clap, clap. Tell them not to do that. Let them focus on one aspect at a time. When they have automated that, bring another aspect in. And that is how you're working on each child's level, where they are, making learning so meaningful and purposeful for every child while still doing the same program. Let's look at the language component.
And a 1, and a 2, and a ready. Go. Tick, tack.
Red.
Tick, tack.
Yellow.
Tick, tack.
Blue.
Tick, tack.
And there, even though they know their colors, you'll see them going up. And the reason is because the pathway for retrieval is not strengthened enough so that they can come out. And I promise you, by the end of the week, they'll say more colors, more colors, more colors, until they can say all the colors within the time. Then what do you do to challenge them? Add the movement. This movement is so important. OTs will tell you. The swinging of your arms gets your shoulders woken up for handwriting. Bringing it here brings to the midline. You'll be amazed how many children can't find their midline and clap as they say it as well. So do you see how many skills there are opportunities to practice so that they can automate it? Looking at handwriting, again, I want to say to you, at this early stage, there's no paper. This is doing as air writing. Watch carefully at the avatar. Do you notice him dipping a little bit? Watch carefully.
And a 1, and a 2, and a ready. Go. Tick, tack.
Under the box.
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 Tick.
The under the box and dropping your body is giving so much feedback of the concept under. Obviously, when we go over the box, they go on their tippy toes, and it really conceptualizes the concept of over, above, and then obviously in the middle, which is so important for handwriting. So do you see how all the skills that is needed later on for handwriting, you have to have those basic perceptual skills automated before we can apply it in handwriting. I'd like to show you some clips now of children now. You've seen the program. Now look what the children are doing. This is obviously for the grade 1s where they do handwriting on paper, but look, they're watching the screen and they start with the model, watching him and copying him, and you can pick up who is on time. Each one is responsible for their space, their stool. Look at the air writing, talking, that, and also the correct formation. This is more for your end of grade R and possibly grade 1. And here, all you do is you are the model. You facilitate as the children do the exercises. That exercise is difficult to get your hands above your head. This is brilliant for visualization, knowing where your foot is in space and working on that. And here, as I said, you can see the timing, who has timing, who struggles, and obviously the older children, they automate handwriting. And this little boy, oh, he's the cutest. And look how they're passing the bean bag. Many of them at the beginning throw the bean bag and they don't realize it because they haven't mapped their body in space. Hence, they don't know where is my other hand. So as you can see, this program allows the children to see what they see and copy it. You as a teacher in the classroom, you just facilitate, you pop it on and you help the struggling learners who are struggling with the exercise by simplifying. For example, you may say, just watch his feet, or just copy the movement. Or my go-to line is always, show me what you can do, or do what you can, which is non-threatening. I don't need to be at the top there. I just show what I can. And by doing what I can, it then lends to, oh, I can do the next one. I can do the next one. And as I said, this program allows you to continue for 160 days. And we've got about 200 days in normal time, not now, obviously, 200 days in the school year. So obviously when it comes to Grandparents' Day, concerts, or end of year functions, then you don't need to do NeuroNet then. You have had enough opportunities. So it gives you an opportunity to do the program throughout the year and finish it, giving the children the right amount of exposure and opportunities to practice. If you are privileged enough to have therapists at your school, the OT can come in and assist with those struggling children who have huge delays in development on how to execute that exercise. And then also if occupational therapists who are out there, they use this program to give it to their clients so that they can do these perceptual activities at home every day compared to when I was a mommy, oh, tomorrow's OT, quickly, let's do your homework. So this program is vast. It can be used for the teacher in the classroom and the parents at home. It's really versatile. So focusing on being hands-on. Again, Kathy and Sean, I cannot commend you enough by saying, yes, we need to be hands-on. And hands-on means we've got to give what the child needs, what the brain needs. The brain needs processing time. The brain needs opportunities of practice. The brain needs guidance, facilitating, and obviously lots of what the brain loves is to hear appraisal, acknowledge, validate, but not the result. Learn from me, not the result. Validate the effort that they put in. Validate and acknowledge the attitude. And this is where you bring cognitive, which is your left brain, as well as your right brain together to work together as we are being hands-on to develop this child holistically. And by us doing this and playing this vital role, this is how NeuroNet can also assist to close that gap where we have to be hands-on, but we have to maintain that physical distance. How do I do this and become or ensure optimum learning? I really encourage you to go onto the website. You will see I've got Step Up to Learn. Step Up to Learn is the new NeuroNet, if I can put it that way. In the States, they do NeuroNet, but online. So if you go to Step Up to Learn and you sign up for their 30-day free trial and you do the program for your class, it will give you a far better understanding, and also to see how they struggle, but how they organize themselves to get to that level of fluency. So all the NeuroNet videos that I showed you, that it's obviously NeuroNet itself, that you will find on Step Up to Learn. If you go onto the website and you're struggling which program to choose, please drop me a line and I shall assist you, or my husband Charles. For that, I'm going to also just show you now what children have to say about doing NeuroNet.
I love NeuroNet because it wakes up my brain to think and learn. It makes me smart and it makes me do my maths work excellent. When I started doing it, I kind of got used to it, but I would get it wrong every day. I would just get it wrong. But then when I did it more and more and I watched my teacher, I just got better at it. I enjoy doing NeuroNet because when the teacher asks you questions, you can answer all of the questions. At the beginning of the year, I struggled with maths. Now I'm good at it.
We got better and better at it, and we're like, hey, I thought it was hard. Now it's getting easier.
When it was the first day of school and we did NeuroNet, it was tricky for me, but now I'm excellent with it.
I did basketball. It probably could help my shooting because you have to get it off the tips of your fingers. Well, when you step up and down, that really helps you get it up and down. NeuroNet really gave me a big push to help me.
I like NeuroNet because after NeuroNet, it feels like I can do anything.
Oh, straight out of the babes of the mouths of babes, sorry. And ladies and gentlemen, as I close off now, I just would like to commend you on your phenomenal job that you're doing. It's not just a job, it's a calling. And God has set you there for a purpose, and it is to take his little people and to make them the best that they can be so that they can serve him later on in life. So I commend you again, and I wish you well. Continue with what you're doing. You have no idea the impact that you are making on these little people, not just the person, but for the teachers in the next level, the next phase as well. And you know, we don't say thank you enough. So I'd like to say thank you. Being a grade 3 teacher, head of foundation phase, this has enlightened me to understand what really happens in ECD, and I commend and applaud you. And I wish you well. Continue with what you're doing. When you lose hope, find that space, find the strength, go to your place, and just carry on again. Sean, that is me done.
Thanks, Liz. Won't you stop sharing, and then we can be bigger on the screen. My gosh, Liz, I'm exhausted. The energy and the passion that you bring. I feel sorry for those grade 3s in your class. My gosh, they wouldn't be able to sit still. But I also realized that I'm going to put NeuroNet here in the office because, as the kids said, it wakes up their brains. So I'm definitely going to implement that in the office so that I can get my team working a bit better. And the other thing that I realized that I love that first little video of that little girl trying to sort out her ballet. It reminds me of Sean Weber on the golf course. He can't get everything right, you know, the swing on the feet and all those kind of things. But I'm quite sure that this is going to help me with my golf, you know, because for me, the speed and accuracy don't always kind of work together. But a reminder to anyone out there, if you've got any particular questions, you're welcome to ask them. Can you explain just a little bit more for us how we go about? I mean, you indicated the 30-day trial. If a school is serious about it, what do they need? Do they still need internet access, that kind of stuff? Why don't you just give us some practical advice, Liz?
Definitely. Thank you for that question. Once you've done your 30-day trial, or you want to know what the next step is, make contact with Charles or myself. I'll give you the details again, and we will guide you along. What you will need is a screen where you can project the videos. The actual program can be installed on your computer. Then you have internet just to verify with NeuroNet Learning that you are a licensed person to use the program. So you only use that much data just to verify that you are a licensed user, because it's going to be on your laptop. However, in the States, because they have free Wi-Fi and internet, they are doing it very much downloading the videos daily, but that for us is not right. So I would suggest that we will give you the opportunity to load it onto your computer, then you just link up to get the username and password, and then you can run the program. And then, as I said, it needs the screen. They need to hear it as well. And if you saw, they had those little step stools. Many parents, or with younger children, it's that where they go to reach the bathroom, sink, or the toilet. It's that step stool. So that is just to stimulate the vestibular system. And then with the ECD program, all they need is a hand towel, because they actually roll it out and they do exercises on that. And you saw some of them had bean bags. The cost is minimal with regards to the equipment that you need, okay? And then you can use it over and over. Obviously, the higher grades, they have books that they can do and automate the handwriting. But all of that, we will guide you according to your needs, your age group, and so on.
And there was just an interesting question that came. Some of the folks saw the kids one shoe on, one shoe off. Just quickly explain that.
Well done for noticing that. That is the ability of understanding that you've got two sides to the brain, or two sides to your body rather. So it is that internal awareness of two sides, which is the basis of right and left. If you remember the exercise where Scott showed this way, he didn't say to the right, to the left. That means nothing. What they do know is I've got to go that way around because I've got two sides to my body. So it's stimulation to the brain saying, hey, you got two sides. And the brain is actually it's very OCD. It's like, there's something different down there. Please, can you do something about that? And the reason why the brain does that is because it's got to make sure that it looks after the head. Yeah. So if it's unstable or it's different, you might fall. We got to protect this, so sort this out. So that feedback that comes back all the time is that awareness of I've got two sides. And also they speak shoe, foot, and you watch the children. They've got to match what they're saying to what they do. It's quite challenging. And Sean, I'm sure both you, Sean, and Sean Weber, when you do those exercises, it will help your golf.
Not mine. Mine's fine. It's Sean's that I'm worried about. You know. Okay. Maybe I should play with one shoe on and one shoe off. But Liz, we've actually run out of time. I'm just going to encourage everyone. We will make sure that your details are on the website, and perhaps, I don't know if there's any further ideas, and I'll ask the team to research it, because I know that NeuroNet was quite expensive. It wasn't a cost per kid per year, but perhaps teachers could be creative with the thinking about what they're doing, and there'll be many YouTube things that will encourage a similar kind of exercise. For me, it was the automation. I think in golf again, I'm need to automate my whole movement of my body, or whatever the case is. And even, as you say, the writing of the letters, where to start. It's the automation, getting those sort of synapses going in the neurons going in the brain. And that was a quick reminder for me. For those old teachers out there, you can still teach your brain some new tricks about how to use technology. So a reminder to everyone. Is there an age restriction on neuron development?
Never. They actually know there is plasticity, so I promise you we can do it. Gosh, I may say, yes, with regards to the cost, and as well as what teachers can do, just listening to Julie Hay yesterday, how inspiring that was. And I thought that should go into the area. So if she could, and I'm happy to work with her, working on the facilitator being the one to do the movement to bring about fluency and accuracy. Definitely we can do that.
Amen. Liz, bless you. My gosh, so nice to see you. Thank you so much for your passion, your energy, and what you've exposed us to today. Certainly got our brains thinking. And again, a reminder of the value of the ECD sector. If we can get those automations going at a younger age, so much better for the grade 1 and 2 teachers as they get a bit older. But Liz, you've given us of your time. We are so grateful. I'm really hoping that many schools make contact with you. We'll have all your details on our website, and we're coming down to PE quite soon, so hopefully we can connect and check you out and see what you're doing. But again, on behalf of everybody, our team, Kathy, and then all of the participants, bless you, Liz. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We've enjoyed being with you.